Scott here from Vino Las Vegas. I'm here with winemaker Coby
Garcia, yes.
Coby Parker, sorry. And we're here at Claboure&Churchill, obviously. So why don't you go ahead and I see we have the dry Riesling to start off with, and this is your new releases, '07, right? So just go ahead and take us through these and explain what we have here.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to have you guys here at the winery. We're known for that Alsatian-style wine, so we definitely do the dry Riesling, dry Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, and we do dry Muscat, actually. So the four noble white grapes of Alsace. The first wine here is our dry Riesling. We've been doing it since 1983 in a real traditional style, for us at least. We combine barrel fermentation with tank fermentation, and we really focus on having it dry. I think there's a lot of good Rieslings out there, but they tend to have a little bit too much residual sugar. This is at about a half of 1%, so about 0.5% RS. So it's real dry, but yet not too dry, and it's an excellent food wine. We find that this wine pairs really nice with seafoods, crabs, abalone goes really well with it, king crab, I mean, you name it. Thai food also, chicken, you name it. It's a really, you go to Alsace, and Riesling is definitely one of the world food wines. So.
Oh, absolutely, and this is incredible. I had these last year, and this is the '07. It's how do you get the old world flavor to this?
I think it's a lot of, and I could be misspoken a little bit, but I think in the U.S. Especially in California with whites, they do a lot of stainless steel fermentation, and great crisp fruity wines, but they lack a little bit of character. So if you can barrel ferment some, and when you barrel ferment, especially with Chardonnays and stuff, you develop real rich textures and characters. And the same goes for Riesling. We do minimal manipulation of our fruit. We try and let each vintage kind of speak for itself. But again, we work with some excellent growers, so we're fortunate that we make sure that the fruit coming in is of the highest quality.
It's very, very nice. That's one thing that really stood out for me when I had these last year was, if this was a blind tasting, I would swear this was from the old world somewhere. Definitely Alsace style for sure, and I loved how you got that here in the Valley.
Yeah,
it's neat.
It's good. It's really nice. I wish I had a quarter for everyone that came in here and said that they didn't like Gewürztraminer and Riesling. They end up leaving buying a half a case because through the years, 60s and 70s, even prior to my birth, California was notorious for the sweeter wines. So the palates are changing, I think, as you see more of the Asian influence, more of the lighter style foods, less of the kind of meat and potatoes, kind of the Cabernet, rah.
Right.
You're seeing a transition of a new style of wines. You're seeing a lot of the Rieslings, Gewürztraminers, Albariños hitting it, real nice aromatic, dry white wines. So.
Do you feel that American palates are becoming more sophisticated now, finally?
Oh, definitely. It's amazing. I'm 33, and I got into the wine industry, when I was 24, 25. But you're seeing kids now, 18, 19, that know more about wine than I do. And by the time they're 21, they're not only well educated, but their palates are away from those sweet Zinfandels and
yes, exactly.
Right. They want to try those really nice dry rosés, versus the sweet rosés that their parents were accustomed to.
Sure. So how did you mentioned that you started, a while back, and so how did you get involved in this whole thing? What got you going?
Well, I got lucky. I'm not a traditional background in terms of winemaker. I didn't come from UC Davis. I didn't come from Fresno State. I was actually a local kid, born and raised in San Luis Obispo. Traveled quite a bit, and then kind of found that I really liked this area. How can I stay in this area? And I found that the wines that were being produced in the Edna Valley, Santa Barbara County, and even up in Monterey were they were fantastic wines and they were growing. So I started taking a few viticulture classes and thought maybe I'd get into the growing aspects of it. I did a little bit of viticulture, found that it wasn't my thing. I actually worked an internship, worked a harvest here, and I met my true love.
Then you were hooked.
And I was hooked, and it's funny because I've had probably a handful of interns throughout the past few years, and half of them love it and half of them hate it. So it's kind of it takes I guess a unique person or someone of interest that really likes the wine.
No, it does. And when you said that, I was thinking, we've been doing this quite a while now, and it's really funny. I hear almost the same story, is that they were interning, then all of a sudden it just like got in their blood.
Yes.
They got hooked, and they started out, being a intern, cellar rat. They started, playing around, maybe experimenting, doing their own thing there with sowing the fruit, and next thing you know, man, that's what they're going to do. That's their life, and they're 25, 30 years old, and they've already made it, and I think that's great. It's like,
well, and Clay and Frederica are a perfect example. They both had tenure at the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
And we're like, what, screw it. We want to come to California
right.
and start a winery. So
that's great.
You get people, with money, without money, you get all walks of life, and it's, everyone comes together because they have a passion for wine, which is really neat.
Okay. So what, besides the Riesling, what else do we have here?
So we have our dry Gewürztraminer.
Okay.
This is pretty much our signature wine. Again, it's done in that dry style. Gewürztraminer, in my opinion, is probably the best spicy food pair. It goes great with Thai food. It goes great with anything with a little bit of like wasabi on it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can also pair it. It's a great Thanksgiving wine. It goes great with turkey and cranberry.
Yeah, it has a lot of, it's very typical of an Alsatian Gewürz.
It's got that real minerality, but then it's got that real nice kind of typical Gewürztraminer aroma.
It really does, because what I found, a lot of the Gewürztraminers that are from here, from the U.S., they tend to be more like sweeter, like more of a dessert type of wine, but this is definitely not a dessert Gewürztraminer in my opinion anyway.
And almost not necessarily just sweet, but more oily too.
Mm-hmm.
So we really focus on making crisp, dry white wines.
Well, you've done it here again, so it's a pleasure taking me through these two, and we're definitely going to be enjoying these wines for sure. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Coby.
Pleasure to meet
Thank
you.
Thank you for spending